We can sit here and talk shop about it, but how about this? We go back once again to the stadium to hear from the man himself, Jose Mourinho, who's with Alison Bender.
Jose, how disappointing was that result today?
Yeah, disappointing, of course. Every time you lose, you are disappointed. But I take positives. In the end of the game, I can have positive feelings. Of course, the first half was not good. Of course, what decided the game was a penalty that I don't need to comment, because normally the penalties easily accepted are the ones where the danger is there, and not a penalty like this one, and was the penalty that decided the game. In the second half we were better than them, but we didn't materialize in goal a couple of great opportunities we had. But the spirit was very, very good in the second half. We know that we have in this moment difficulties. The results, in the end, they represent a little bit the difficulties we have in this moment. And the reality is, I hate to say it, especially after a defeat, but since Harry Kane got injured, we played 2.5 matches and we didn't score a goal. He's not just a goal scorer, he's a guy that is responsible for many other things. We miss a little bit of creation in the team. Our defensive mistakes, they are still there, but the spirit was there again. So this second half, in terms of the mentality, gives me positive feelings. We have a big game now on Sunday that, of course, after 3 defeats, we need to go back to victories.
That's a couple of games now. After the Brighton Hove Albion game, you also said that you started slowly and didn't react after the goal. Are you getting enough from your players? The fact that it wasn't really until the second half that you were pleased with the performance?
Well, but in the second half, we managed, for example, against Liverpool, we conceded a goal in the last minute of the first half. That had an impact in the second. In this game, I believe that the boys, they lost confidence, of course, after their goal, but they managed to keep the result 1-0 until half-time, and at half-time we changed things. The mentality was good. We played the game in a complete different way. They had to play in a complete different way too. I believe that in the end we deserve more than this, but that's what it is.
Could I just ask one tiny question? Obviously, you were just 1-0 down. Gareth Bale, a lot of people were saying, bring him on. Can I ask why you didn't bring him on?
Good question, but I don't think you deserve an answer.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're laughing. You're both laughing right now. I'm not entirely certain how to react. I'm not sure how Alison Bender's feeling right now. That Bale question right at the end, what do you make of that? Don't deserve an answer. Good question, but you don't deserve an answer. Gary?
Well, I think it's your duty as the head coach to answer the media's questions, to be honest with you. What I would say, and Gus has been the manager-coach on the touchline, I've been the manager-coach on the touchline, not quite at the level that Gus has, but those decisions you have to make are not particularly easy. Spurs were still in it, and you've got to, wonder whether if you stick with what you have, you might just get that breakthrough and nick the 1-1 draw. There was that free kick, wasn't there, late on in the game for Spurs that Dyer took and it went wide. Well, if Bale had been on the pitch, would he have picked out the top corner? Well, we don't know. We will never know. There's every chance that Bale's effort would have been even less effective than Dyer's effort. You live and you die by your decisions. But I do think that it's unnecessary for Jose to basically refuse to answer the question that Alison Bender put to him. All I can suggest is that if you don't have a decent answer to hand, then probably you're best to avoid the question. Maybe that wasn't the best way of avoiding it, though, Gus. What do you think?
Well, I think he knows the reason. He didn't want to share it with us. which, fair enough. But what I see is a different Jose, Gary. I see a Jose that 10 years ago, in this situation, it would be fuming. It would be very upset. You will see him really upset with everything that happened in the first half. Was calm, understood the situation, even said he's taking some positives, which, okay, is fair enough. But, managing the situation with a lot of experience and trying to make sure that there is no consequences after the press conference. Saying that, it was interesting to see the two benches, no? It was a moment I was looking at the bench of Chelsea and I was thinking, wow, how many options, Remember, Chelsea was winning 1-0 only, and he had the two strikers on the bench and they didn't come on, and he had, incredible options to help the team either to go forward or to defend, how we done it with Kante. Spurs, you will think that the best offensive option was Gareth Bale, on paper. We don't know how he is. That's why the question was great from Alexander, just to ask, why not? But fair enough. We need to accept it. Sometimes for being too honest, we say something that we shouldn't. So he got away with it.
All right. There's so many things I want to pick apart from that interview as well. I did want to talk about Chelsea's chances, but you know what? This is a bit too juicy for me. I'm going to give you a stat. Do you know how many Premier League games Spurs have won from their last 10, Gary?
Is it as many as 2?
No, you're doubling it there. Just 1.
Wow.
Including today.
Wow.
Just 1.
Wow.
There are issues. Now, I'm looking at what Chelsea did. They just thought to themselves, this is not good enough. Yes, Frank Lampard took us to the top of the table earlier this season. Tell you what, Jose did the same thing with Spurs. But Tottenham are now in 8th place, and I do know they have a game in hand over most of the teams around them, but not all. Are they going to be looking at other options? Because the fan base are not happy with the style of football. Now, you both played for Spurs. You know there's this need to play attractive football at Tottenham. That's what I've been told by a few pundits on the show. Am I correct in using that assessment here as well?
Yes.
Go on, Gus.
Yeah. No, but yes, you are. I've been at Tottenham for 3 years, and they always want to see a great player. I had one of the most embarrassing moments in my career as a football player, beating Man United halftime 3-0 and losing 5-3 in the second half. And I didn't want to leave the dressing room for hours, but the fans, they were so proud about how we played the first half. And that's what Tottenham fans are about. Saying about Jose, I think the main thing for Jose is already in a cup final. I think nothing will happen before that final. I don't want to think that he's under pressure because they won trophies and he's in a final and it's still plenty of the season ahead. So I think it's a slightly different situation with Frank Lampard. Also, the amount of money that Chelsea spent in the summer. But you don't know what is going on internally. So to comment on that would be unfair on Jose. But definitely the cup final helps, because that's what they're looking for, trophies.
Spurs are in all the competitions which they're competing as well, Gary. The League Cup final, the FA Cup, the Europa League knockout stages, and, well, you can't be eliminated from the Premier League when you're in 8th place. So they might not be competing for top spot, but at least a spot in Europe. How long has Jose got to prove himself, do you feel?
Well, I can't see there being any change of the management at Spurs this season. Absolutely not. You just said they're in a League Cup final. Who knows what might or might not happen in the Europa League. Yes, there's the FA Cup and Spurs play in that very soon, don't they? I've already said it's been a very strange season, which we're all aware of. The number of sides that have been top of the league, the way that sides have fallen from grace and slid down the table quickly. There are enough games for Spurs to get themselves back up towards the European qualifying places, and they have to qualify for European football, in my opinion, because that sets a minimum standard, which is what they're striving for. Do I think Mourinho is his job is under pressure? No, I think Chelsea are a very different animal as far as the way they treat their managers and their coaches. I think Chelsea have paid something in excess of £100 million out to departing managers in the Abramovich era. Spurs don't pay that sort of money away to departing coaches because, they just don't deal with their coaches in that manner. Yes, of course, they've had quite a few. No, Mourinho is safe there, but what I would say is that from his point of view, I think he's very fortunate that the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is empty these days.